Hi, I'm Dr. George Yancey. I want to introduce you to our Sociology and Scripture series. It's a playlist I'm developing because I believe truth is truth. I think there's truth in the social sciences. The ultimate truth is in the Scriptures. And I want to try to find a way we can use the social sciences, social theory, to learn more deeply about the Scripture. I know I'm not a theologian, so there's certain types of depths I can't get to because I've not studied that. But I still believe that we could apply what we know in the social sciences in ways to give us additional insight into the Scripture. I'm in a unique position to do this, being a Christian who's serious about his faith, being a scholar who's serious about his scholarship. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope that this series can be insightful to you and help you in your faith. Hi, I'm Dr. George Yancey. Let's share some paradigms. The paradigm I want to share today is the church as a body. This is part of my Scripture and Sociology series where I want to apply sociological theory to the Bible and hopefully gain some insight. And the theory I want to look at today is the theory known as functionalism. And I'll get to what that is in a little bit. Okay, so what I want to look at is the passage. And the passage I want to look at is 1 Corinthians 12 through 18. So let's read that passage because it's a great passage. It talks about the church as a body, and I think it's tremendous insight. So 1 Corinthians 12 through 18. It goes like this. For as the body is one and has many members, but all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ. For in one Spirit we are all baptized into one body, whether Jew or Greek, whether slave or free, and have all been made to drink into one Spirit. For in fact the body is neither one member, but many. The foot should say, because I'm not a hand, I'm not of the body, is it not therefore not of the body? And if the ear should say, because I'm not an eye, I'm not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? The whole body were an eye, where would be the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where would be the smelling? But now God has set the members, each one of them, in the body, just as he pleases. It's a great passage talking about how we all work together, how we all need together, how we have different purposes, different abilities, and to appreciate that. I feel that part of what God's brought me here to do is to be in academia as a Christian, to bring some insight, to do some teaching. I think that's part of my purpose. I'm not the one to put in the nursery. Trust me, you do not want me in the nursery with your kids. I have my 3 boys. I love them. I love my boys. Your kids I'm not so sure about. I'm just being honest about that. I'm lousy with little kids. There are people who are wonderful with little kids who do not need to be in academia. So this shows just how the body works together, which reminds me of the sociological theory of functionalism. And by looking at that theory, we can appreciate this passage, what it means, and what it means to the church, and some dangers we can look out for. What's functionalism? Functionalism is the notion that it describes a society kind of as a body. It describes society as everything working together. Everything has a function. And in this function, it keeps things working well. Functionalism helps us to understand how society works. We have an economic system, we have a political system, we have a family system. All these things work together. Durkheim is often noted as the founder of functionalism. Now, he made an interesting argument about mechanical solidarity and organic solidarity. He argued that one time in our society, we had a mechanical solidarity where everyone's doing the same thing. You think about a village of peasants who are all farmers, or all engaged in fishing, a village on a beach or something like that. We all had the same lifestyle because we did basically the same tasks. But to develop, for us to modernize, we had to move to organic solidarity, where not everyone fished or everyone farmed, but people could specialize, doing special things that make the society better, more prosperous, become police officers, become engineers, become government officials. We work together Organic solidarity, everyone had a role, and by playing that role, we have solidarity because we're sort of like a football team or a basketball team where everyone has their position, we're together, and we win. Society can be that way. Functionalism has some ability to explain why things work the way they do, why we have certain purposes, why some things that last may not be the best of thing, but they inadvertently serve a purpose. In the functionalist, everything serves a purpose towards making society work well. Now, I do think functionalism has some explanatory value. I do caution, though, that there's a problem in functionalism in that it can become very static. You see, the functionalists argue that we don't want to change too fast because things will fall apart. You'll get sort of chaos. Now, there's probably some truth to that. Changes too rapid can make things just fall apart. But oftentimes, this creates a notion that we can't change at all, which is not the actual argument of functionalism, but is an outcome of this type of thinking. And so, when things are too static, when we need change, when we need civil rights, when we need innovations, when we need to change our economy from one that is agricultural to industrial to service-oriented, we may slow down and not do those changes because we're so comfortable and we each have our function. To this extent, functionalism gives us new insight into this passage in Corinthians. Yes, the church is a body. And as a body, we need to work together. We need to appreciate each other. I've learned to appreciate people who have talents that I don't have and perhaps act in ways that I'm not comfortable with. You know, sometimes some of these evangelists, I go, oh, man, how can you be out there doing that? Some of the people who are very, challenging, who challenge in a way that I'm not comfortable with. They say, oh, you seem over the top. But then I realize perhaps God has them there to do that for a very reason. For a very reason that they are doing it, that we need that sort of challenge. If that's all we had, if all we were was that I, one big I as a body, that would be bad. So if we only had those sort of people or people like me, that would not be good for the church. We all have our function. But we could get comfortable thinking, all right, we're working together. We don't need to change. My belief is that the Christian body, and indeed Christian churches, should be in a state of changing. Even if things are good, even if things are going well, let's make them better. There's always a problem. And maybe we don't want to change too fast, but we want a mindset of changing, of adapting, not throwing away the essentials, clearly, but of adapting and moving forward. The warning of functionalism is that perhaps we don't always move forward. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope this series is a series which I definitely have looked forward to doing. It is a challenge because it brings out I have to develop some theological perspective as well as sociological theories. And I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, this series is ongoing, and you might want to consider subscribing so you can get more of these series going on. Please feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to leave a like. Feel free to subscribe. And I hope you'll come back. We engage more in this scripture, sociological series, and of course, shatter some more paradigms.